Hey there, so far we have done the bumper part of this car for the rigging of the transformation of these cars. So far we've done this much. So now let's move to the second part. So the second part will be these two layers, new hood outer body and old hood outer body. So let's make these layers visible and let's hide the already done layers. So for these two layers we'll be using this controller. So make sure you make the controller and then you freeze transform the controller's attributes. Here I have also limited the information of the translate axis of the translate Z of this controller so that the container does not move outside this box, neither this way nor this way. So for doing that, what you can do is select the controller, press Ctrl A. Now go to the mm, object node of this controller. Now go to the limit information dialog box. Now go to translate and just enter the minimum value here and tick it for locking it and the maximum value here. So now let's start with the rigging of this particular part of the car. So we'll apply the same process as we have done in the part first of this video. So what we'll do is, first of all, we'll hide the new layer of this hood outer body. We'll first of all make this old parts of the hood outer body invisible. So for that we'll open the set driven key menu, space bar, animate, set driven key, set. Now from here what we'll do is, since we are going to use same methods on the corresponding parts of this object, so to save time and to fasten the rigging process, we can combine these corresponding parts of this object. So we'll select these two, shift right click and go to combine. We'll center pivot this object. We'll do the same thing with these objects also. Shift right click, combine, center pivot, shift right click, combine, center pivot. So now we have three objects. So what we are basically going to do is, this particular part goes upwards, then this part goes slightly upwards, and this is the first position. Then in a bit forward of this controller, these parts go downwards to this one, and this one goes down with this one, and all the three goes downside in the car itself. So let's start. So first of all, I'll select this object, load driven, load driver. So this is the Z axis of this circle, so we'll select the translate Z, and this is the translate Y of these two objects. We'll select translate Y. So at 0 of the circle we'll press a key, and by slightly moving the circle we'll take it a bit upwards, maybe this much, then we'll press G. We'll select the second part, and we'll make it the driven. Take it slightly upwards, this much, and press key. And right now, only at this point the key has been placed for this object, and at the point 0 there is no key placed for this object. So if I take the circle back to 0, this object is not going back to the 0 position. So for that also we'll make it at 0 and key it, 0 and key. So now what happens is this goes like this. Okay, so after this what we'll do is we'll take this and make it the driven, and go slightly backwards like this much. We'll make the second one the driven object right now, and we'll place a key at this axis before starting the second step. So for that, being the controller at this place, we'll select this one and we'll check which axis this is the Z axis. So we'll select the Z axis and press key, and after a bit of movement of the controller, we'll take this one beneath this one. So now you can see there's a lot of gap between these two objects. That would be a problem in when we continue for these two parts. So what we can do is we'll press Ctrl Z right now, and instead of just taking the Z axis right now, we'll also take the Y axis, and we'll press key. So now after moving just a bit, oh sorry, yes, right now here. So we'll press key, and after just moving this much, we'll take this one backwards and slightly upwards like this, and we'll press key again, and at this position I will take it back to its place, maybe here. We'll repeat the same procedure with these objects. So we'll select this one, the Z axis, we'll select this one, make it driven, Y and Z axis, and we'll press key, and this object will take slightly higher time as compared to this one. So for that, what we can do is make it slightly outwards and then move it over here like this, and press key. Then select all the three, press driven, select one, select the maybe the select maybe the biggest one, select all three together. That would be a much easier and a much faster way. Select all the three, take the Y axis and take this one and press key, and after a bit of frames, just bit of the controller moving, select all the three again, take it downwards like this, and press key again. So till now what we have done is we like almost made this these three parts hidden. So now these are inside the main object, like the new one. So now after maybe this much part till this one, the new body parts will be hidden, so we won't make it visible till now. So for that we'll first of all repeat the same process. So we'll make this older invisible. That won't work because we have combined these objects after we have created the layer. So what we'll do is we'll just select these objects, all these three, and add it to the old layer. Right click, add selected objects, and we'll make it invisible for just the time being. And we'll select this one and the corresponding one and repeat the same process of shift right click, combine, center pivot, shift right click, combine, center pivot, and shift right click, combine. And what we can do is, to save time, we can attach these components also. So we'll make it combine and center pivot. So now we have three parts. So at this point, when the controller is right here, we want all of these to be hidden. So for that what we'll do is we'll just maybe like open the old one also, and we'll load this driver, and this part as the driven, maybe all the three parts as the driven, since this is the first frame, the first point where these objects will be hidden right now and will take the transformation. So I'll press load driven and select all the three, and we want the z axis and the y axis of these three objects to be keyed. So we'll select both of these axes, and the z axis of the controller should be this one, and we'll press maybe by making it a bit downwards somewhat here, key, and at this very same point of the controller we'll take these objects downwards a bit upwards and downwards, bit upwards like this, and again key. So this is the first position where these objects will start from, and maybe we can also key the visibility of these objects. So right now we'll press a key at this very point, press 0, and make the old ones invisible. Select these two also, press key, 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 and we just after this very slight translation of this circle, we'll select all the three axes, make it one, and press key. So from here, these parts come into visibility, maybe, or maybe after just this much of translation, all these three parts come upwards like this. Maybe to their uh, final height, that would be like this much. I'll press key, that's maybe a bit higher, and I press key. So here it is like this. Now after we have done this much, what we'll do is we'll take these below objects in front of this big one, and we'll place it at their correct position. So that will be the next step. So for that, we'll take it just a bit further, maybe this much. We'll move them to their translate Z original position. That would be the translate Z 0. So they come to their original position, and in the y-axis we'll make them a bit slightly away from their original positions. So that would be like, to get it in a transforming mode, and we'll press key again, and after like this much, all these parts will take their final and the correct position. So for that, what we'll do is select all three parts and set their y and transit z positions at 0. So this is their final and the new position, and we'll press key. So far what we have done is, let me open the old window also. What we have done is this thing. This was the old parts. This goes down and the new one comes. And what we can do is we can make the old ones go out of visibility also when they go downwards. So when they are like at this much point, let their driven, let their visibility be keyed at on, and just a bit afterwards, let's make their visibility off and make it key. So now what happens is this. So now we have left these two parts. So for that, what we'll do is we'll first of all make the old one go off the visibility. So for that, we'll take the visibility off of the new one and key the older ones. So there are four parts. So what we can do is we'll take this all and shift right click and combine. Well, this is just one way of doing this, so you can take it in any other way also. You could not just be combining them, you could take as much as parts you just want to. I'm just combining them to make the video smaller in the length and easy to be understood, understandable. So now I've combined them, I'll just add them to the old layer. Now I'll make them, I'll use the cut faces tool. I'll put it over here. I'll press W, I'll press Ctrl A, I'll go to the polycut tab, I'll select the delete faces, select the polycut, press Ctrl A. Now make the polycut, the driven object and the circle somewhat here, the driver, and at the 0 position the translate Z of this one, and I don't know what is the axis. Yes, this is the axis, so this is uh, x-axis of the cut plane, so this one and this one, and key it, and till halfway of the controller, make the polycut to 0 visibility, like this much here. I'll press key again, and now I'll open the new layer, and at this point I'll repeat the same process of combining these two objects and making the pivot at the center. And now I'll add the cut faces tool like this, and I'll repeat the same process, the delete faces, Control A, select this polycut, load driven, and Control A, make the polycut invisible, just go slightly backwards like this much, and the polycut axis was, I don't remember it, I just have to check it. So the polycut axis maybe was the x-axis, yes, this is the x-axis. So we'll take the controller slightly backwards. Now we'll select the x-axis, we'll make it key, and just when the controller has finished, the final position of the controller has been achieved, we'll select the polycut, we'll go to the cut plane center X, and we'll make it completely visible. We'll press key. So now what happened is, the old one goes and the new one comes. Old one goes and the new one comes. So this is the second part.